but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
see, my thing was like, I have to hold this as long as I can. So it was like almost like a life or death situation for me, you know? Like,
Like,
I can't piss myself in front of all these people,
And then you
like
did.
in this car, and then I did because I couldn't hold it anymore.
See, I would have like ran up there and like shut the car off and like got off on the side of the street. Like I wouldn't have let it.
I just would have peed in the cup. The bottle.
Hey, just kind of turn away a little bit.
Just like, wait, you could have probably like used one finger to block it, right, Brian?
Shut up.
Like, don't look.
She's like, what? I can't even see anything. Welcome back to another episode of Bored with the Boys.
You don't have to do that. So, I was thinking about it a lot, like recently, but I think it's a good topic. I want to like actually get into it more serious this week, but like, what are your? We'll just say, what are your greatest fears, or what are your?
What are you afraid of?
Maybe recently, and not like I said, like not like I'm afraid of heights or fall, like deeper than that,
like soap. I don't want to clean myself.
Not like soap. Like a deeper, like
germs
like
everywhere.
In your like life, like your
Germs on soap.
accomplishments, you're like, you know, like a broader, like a more serious, a greater type of fear, like in that sense, I guess. If you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Oh, I know.
I don't think Christian knows what I'm saying.
I mean, I can start. I mean, I don't know. I like to say I'm not, but I think what everyone like. It's one thing everyone is. I mean, I guess pretty much everyone would admit it, but like I technically am like afraid of dying. Like it's like not like generally like I'm walking down the street and I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to touch this or that thing's sharp or something like that. But like just when you think about it, and if I think of like, oh my god, if something were to happen, I were to die, like it's just like that thought is still like one of the most like scary things. And it's multiple reasons. It's for like, you know, are you doing enough to like well it's are you doing enough to like be happy, like if something were to happen, like did I do enough, like did I achieve enough, or was it like all a waste type of thing? But also is kind of like, you know, like leaving people behind and like that other element. So for like, you know, having families and like children, significant others and stuff like that, like leaving them behind and like imagining them being like sad if you were gone, like that's like that's all like really huge part of like the dying things. I would say that's still like a huge thing. Like I said, not enough that I'm like scared to do things, but like just the thought of that. So it doesn't prevent me from doing things, but it also like still like occasionally like pops up and is like, oh shit, like it like really like messes with you.
Yeah, I think that happens there.
Yeah,
you start like thinking about it and you're sitting there, you're like, and you can't like comprehend it, so it's like even worse. And you're like, what the hell? And then you can't even like understand it. Like it's weird.
So sort of to piggyback off kind of what Scott said a little bit is like when I do get to that point when I am like say in the hospital or something, like I'm on my deathbed or whatever, looking back in my life and, you know, like, did I achieve anything? Did I just live a stupid life? Like, was I, you know, just drinking all the time, partying all the time, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that sounds
not
awesome.
that I do that, but I mean, like, just did I do something with my life?
Should you be doing that?
Did I make it worth it? You know. And then the obvious one, like people in my life dying.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah, I mean, like death. Death, I think encompasses like a lot of it because it's like it's the pure end of something, which is like you said, it's unknown. Like no one knows what happens after you die. All you know is that like whatever you had, you lose, and if you have people that were there for you, like, you know, no, you're not there for them anymore. So like that sucks. But like for Brian's point, I didn't want to like interrupt people's turns, but like the thought of like what he said is what I mentioned is like, you know, did you live a life worth living type of thing? And that's like, I think that differentiates the fear of death in a lot of people because like I think about that more often than I think about like the death part of it, just on a day-to-day basis. I get scared that it's like, am I just doing the paces of the days? And then it's like in a year from now, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like it's separated from a death. And a year from now, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to die from a year from now. But I'm saying in a year from now is like, if I look back at the year, is that
did you do enough?
Yeah, is that year like, oh my god, like if I would have done X more things, would that year have been just like way more better and happier and productive? And it's like,
Mhm.
so it's like the death is a huge part of that, but it's also, I feel like day to day, that's like just like something that like worries me. Like every day is like spend an hour on YouTube or do something stupid, and you're like, oh my god, and then it's just like, did I just waste all this time? But then it's also
Yep.
like the on the line of like, shouldn't you just live your life and just do whatever makes you happy in that moment because you're happy in that moment? If you're gonna regret it later, it's like you can't really change it. So
That's so
I don't know, it's kind
that
of weird.
is a lot closer to what like my answer is. Death obviously is kind of like an overarching thing,
Yeah.
but that is a lot closer to what I'm thinking, and like I think about almost like every day. It's very similar to that, but almost to like I'm like I'm scared that like everything I do either like it's like not the right choice or I should have done something else, and I'm like whatever, like I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and I was like, all right, should I just like do this? And like I know I talked to you guys and stuff, and a couple of my friends about like moving, like whether it be like still kind of to a state nearby, or I was talking about moving like pretty far, like to a completely different state, like down south. And it's like part of me is like, yes, that's like I should absolutely do that. I'm young, like I don't have a lot of responsibilities. I should absolutely do that. But then part of me is like, no, like why? Like, and that's like that terrifies me. And it's like, is that the right choice or it's not the right choice? And it's like, yeah, but if I stay, it's like maybe it'd be safer, but it's like it's safer good. And then it's like, but that doesn't seem like the right choice. And nothing seems like the right choice. And that's like what is terrifying to me. It's like no matter what I do, nothing feels like the right choice.
Yeah. See, I think like I don't know if Christian can speak to it. Being older, I feel like the idea of the right choice, I'm
Old
slowly
sucks.
pulling away from. No, like not yeah, like because I say that because I don't think there is like a right choice. You know what I mean? I feel like when you get stuck in that argument, it's not what is the right choice. It's just which one like makes more sense. Which I guess you can
The most
call it
sense to your
the right
situation.
choice, but when you think of it as right and wrong, it makes it more scary than if you think of it as like, does it even make sense type of thing. You know what I mean? Because like I don't know, as you get older, it's like, you know, things happen, bad things happen, you recover from them, and it's like, oh, did I make the wrong choice? And it's like, okay, well, the choice was made at that point in time. It made sense in that time, and then you pivoted from there. So every choice just creates new pathways and that kind of thing. So
Well, yeah.
uh,
And if you
I-
look back on it, obviously it's
yeah, and I get what you're saying, but I feel like I try to do that. Like I still have like the day to day, like, oh my god, like did I just waste my day? But I try to get away from like, was that the right choice type of thing? Because that's a really hard like mindset to put yourself in. Because once you're there, like which is what you are, which isn't wrong, but you're in that mindset now, and that mindset is scary because then everything is like, is it the right or is it the wrong? Versus like just kind of making the choices and doing the paces. So.
But then, like you said, though, but just like doing the paces, and I'm just like, but then
I know,
does that
it's the same.
when you get out of that mindset, does it put you in the mindset that you're in?
Yeah.
Where then it's just you're kind of just like everyday like kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's just like it's just I don't know. The whole situation is just like hard to even figure out, and that's like,
Christian, what do you think, Christian?
Well, that's like the top thing, death is the top thing that you want to know. Like it's there's nothing else more fearful than that or just whatever you leave behind or how you die. It's the only thing.
I think like kind of Scott said, like my fear of death isn't necessarily dying. It's just
right.
having I do stuff when I was alive and when I could do it. So it's not necessarily like dying.
Did I do enough to support my family or, hang out with my friends enough or
just live my life and just like do what I want. Cause like I'm just so tired, like so scared of just like living until like I'm all of a sudden, 50 or 60 or 70 or how whatever old and just like, man, what the hell? Like I didn't do anything. Like I could have I could have been reckless and stupid and had fun and like who cares? Like you could have had fun when you were young and done like do crazy stuff and just like that's more fun than like sometimes being like a secure, like safe path, a secure path. And it's like that, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people talk of it as like in terms of like impact. So it's like like even in your situation, it's like your death is not. It's that alone obviously is bad, but it's like it's the impact on the others. It's like, did you do enough that like you would like have some sort of story associated with you? Like, oh, this person did this, or it's like, oh, this person, went out and drank all the time. You didn't really do much, or it's like, the impact that you have on loved ones. So when you pass, the impact of you passing is like, so it's like death is like, I think related to like the idea of like the impact that you created, like your legacy. Not like we're all like famous creating these legacies, but like, what is like the story that someone tells when they're like, it's like, oh, your great grandfather, he was in the war and he did this, and it's like, oh, Brian, he shat on that floor that one time. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's not shit on anybody's floor.
Yeah,
for the record.
I guess that's just like, I know, because it's just like what life is. It's just like a collection of like memories to look back on. So it doesn't have to necessarily be something. That's another thing. It's like you want to be remembered for like a good thing, but at the same time, it's like you just want to have fun. So you want to like, you want to have your memories be good, and like who cares what other people think of you. But at the same time, it's like you still want to do good and have other people think good of you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like a never-ending balance and struggle.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like another thing that the death, that, all that other stuff. But like the one thing that I still like, it's more like subliminal. It's still like a battle, but it's like the fear of like disappointing somebody.
Yeah,
is still something like I've pretty much done like my whole life. Like you can ask like friends and family. Like I make decisions to please other people before like even at the detriment of like either myself or like even other people. Like someone asks you to do something and blah blah blah, and it's like the constant try to like pleasing, and so they see you like positively. Yep. And I'll do the same thing at work, and I'll just like get myself in a really shitty spot, and I'm like, well, what am I doing by like trying to please everybody? But it's just like that idea of like having someone like not like you, which is like one of those things that's like, and I feel like happy with yourself, you shouldn't care what people think, and it's like I feel like I have that to a certain degree, but then it's like if I think like, oh, someone doesn't like me, or if there's like any inkling of that, it's like, oh my god, I get all like stressed out. And it's like I'm like scared that someone doesn't like me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like be the most popular person, but it's like I don't know. I want people to see me positively. Like the idea of someone seeing me in a negative way, like I don't know, it really like gets to me. And that's every day. It's still stupid, but
just because you like you said, like you know. You're like, you're like a good person, a nice person. You know, you'd help people, and it's like if someone sees you differently, you're like, well, why do they see me like that? I'm not like that. Now I have to make them see me how I am.
Eats away at you. Yeah.
And it's like I get that part of it, and like you said too, it's just like, but at the same time, it's like you can't always control what other people think of you. You can't always control what other people are gonna do. So it's like it's like I said, it's like hard balance of just like saying, okay, I don't care what people think of me, and like I want to make sure people know that I'm this person. So it's like it's such a hard balance of.
Because it's like a daily thing.
You don't want to neglect like your own like yourself too. Like you said, sometimes it's at the detriment of your own health, happiness, whatever it may be. So like just that it can be unhealthy to some extent as well.
Because it's hard to see like where I even like sit on the whole thing, because like I'll have conversations with people like whether it's one of you or like literally somebody at work being like, no, dude, like don't care what people say. I'm like being this whole motivational speaker to this person, like not intentionally just trying to be some wise person. I'm just like talking, like feel like I'm talking out of my heart, and then like something will happen and I'll immediately like do the opposite of what I like just spoke about. So it's like I feel like I'm like speaking of who I am, like I don't care, whatever, and then like something happens and I'm like, oh, like now I'm a little bitch because I like just totally back. But it's like it's just happening. So it's like what do I truly feel? Do I feel with these things I say and I repeat to myself, or like what do I do in the freaking in the moment,
the situation?
It's I feel like I still am flopping on both ways like all the time, and it's like I don't know, like death obviously is like the overarching one that's like that real distant fear that you have. It's like, I mean, if you're sick and there's like this real issues where you're like, oh my god, something could happen where I could die, but like I don't have that right now, so it's like I'm not scared of like a car accident or whatever like that. So it's like the fear that gets to me is like the everyday like disappointment, whether it's even sometimes it's with myself, like if I'll like eat too much of a snack or something like that. It sounds so stupid, but like I'll be like disappointed in myself. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I just want to be happy in the moment. I'm hungry. And like after I'm like, man, I hate myself because I just ate all this fucking food and I like disappointed myself. And it's just like
ate all those Slim Jims, guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like that weird. Like I feel like you have like a higher and like a shorter like fear type thing. Like you have like the thing you fight constantly, and then like the overarching. For me, it's like the overarching is the like the death and the impact, and then the short one is like that like trying to be positive to every single person, be the perfect person to in everyone's eyes, but for like no reason. I don't know. That's a shitty one. So,
I mean, they're all kind of like not shitty things to be afraid of, though. I mean, they're all like real, you know.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I want to do more like a serious, not like
you're not normal being afraid of all.
Yeah, and it's something that probably a lot of people deal with every day.
Yeah,
like most people don't really talk about. Or
well, I mean, when you think of fears, when you think of fears, you think people, like I said, people tend to like, I'm scared of spiders, I'm scared of blah blah blah, but it's like, well, what's the reason for it? Like, oh, they're creepy, but it's like, is like, what's your eventual fear? Like, I feel like it gets to some sort of like pain. Like, I'm scared of spiders, and it's like, well, why? It's like, oh, well, they could get on me and bite me. So it's like, oh, your fear is of the pain that it could inflict. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it was a very interesting.
It's a weird thing.
It breaks it down. If you watch, I don't know if it was on I don't know if it was Vsauce channel, but it was that guy there.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
I think it was, and it breaks it down like what fear is, and it's wicked interesting actually. And it basically it breaks down to like 5 or 6 like instincts of like humans that are like you can't like deny them, and like one of the biggest ones is like death, and like you can trace every fear back to like these like
death,
main
pain
like
type things. Yeah,
and it's just like built in, hardwired to us to survive, because like pain is not good for us. Pain means death. Like, so you avoid pain. So it's like like even those things that like spiders may like for some may be like an irrational fear, but it's still you can track it down.
It all leads back to that death category. It stems from the same death area.
Yeah. It's actually a really cool video, but this like stuff we're talking about, it's different though.
I mean, I guess just to add more conversation. So like on that topic, like aside from like, I don't know what we categorize the other things as, like feelings and notions and stuff like that you're fearful for. Like, what are people like afraid of as far as like things?
You're talking like
a spider is like a heights type of thing. Like, do people have like, do any of you guys have like,
oh hell
you're scared of something? Well, like, you know, like the conventional, you're scared of something.
Yes, for sure.
Go ahead, Brian.
Heights. I hate them. At work, like I have to do work at heights, and it just blows every time.
so this is interesting because I want to try to like unpack each one. So like, the heights, I feel like it's, you know, we just talked about it. So it's like heights. I feel like, so even like me, if I'm like in somewhere high, like you get that like instant like, oh, like really high. But then I feel like instantly somewhere in the back of your brain, you like it like goes all the way back, and you're like, if I fall from this ledge, I will die type of thing. Like, do you feel like it's, Brian? Do you feel like it's kind of coming from that thing?
For me, sort of. It's not necessarily the height that gets me. It's like what I'm on, or like how secure I am. At the height I am.
The notion of falling to some sort.
So like for instance, I'll go to like the TD Garden a lot for like a Celtics game, Bruins game, or like whatever, you know, rave or something. And like if I get the balcony, even though like I'm on the lowest level of the balcony at the glass, like I still have racing thoughts in my head. Like it's just the height and the vibrations and like everything that's going on in the building at that height makes me like, I don't know, I just get all fucked up.
It's like in your head, you're like, like, I guess it's hard to like know, but like subconsciously it's kind of like, man, I could fall and like either die or extremely feel pain type of thing.
Yeah,
right.
That's what gets me.
I think that is everyone.
It's
but
the secureness.
Yeah, I think height is a common one where it's like fear of like falling and dying, basically.
I think everyone has every fear in a sense, but everyone has their own way to either like not suppress it, but like overcame it. Like,
I don't think everyone has the same fear. I think everyone has the same like notion of what they are, but maybe not like,
I don't know. I think not
idea
like,
of what the fear is.
Fear. You know I think like everyone, like, because like we were talking about how it's almost like it's like human nature, like
instinctual.
Like,
that's true.
You're like gonna fall off something and I want to die. Like everyone has that in their head at all times when they're up high. But
it's just like, how you manage it.
Some people are able to like if you come out like suppress it, but like put it back to their back of the head, or like calm it down. Like, oh, I'm on a secure platform, I'm fine. Or people just like, I forget what I was watching, something else.
You can like train yourself too.
So I was just watching something else where a guy was like, I don't know if it was like a parkour thing or something, but he was like climbing up on something, and his friend was coming up, and he was just like, he's like, oh my god, this is so scary. He's like, how are you not afraid? He's like, oh, he's like, I'm afraid. He's like, I'm always afraid, but he's like, I just do it every time. He's like, he's like, I'm always afraid.
Yeah.
Like that was his thing. Like some people just always afraid, they either just don't show it, or that's just like you're just consistently overcoming that fear.
It's like the
It's
Hulk.
just
Oh.
It's like the
I
Hulk. He's
feel
always
like it's
mad.
almost-
Yeah,
That's how he
he's always
controls
angry.
it. Makes sense. It's the same thing.
there's like
like,
each person has like a level, if you will, of like how afraid they are of that thing.
Yeah.
Like reptiles, snakes, or heights, or
Mhm.
bugs, or whatever the hell it may be. If you're afraid of fish or something, I don't know.
What do you got, Christian?
Getting stuck in small spaces.
Claustrophobia.
claustrophobia.
Yeah.
That
Like you try to
That
squeeze
sounds
into
like-
some like really tight, like you don't like trying to reach something, you feel like you can get stuck and then like no one can see you or
So-
like hear you.
So have you been put in a situation like that, or just like the idea of it?
The idea of it, like I don't
Yeah.
want like stick my hand in like a jar or something. like
I
No,
would
I got you. It's funny
Yeah.
you bring that up because like probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like YouTube recommended me some like extreme cavers videos
Oh,
where
God.
people
Oh
that
my
like
God.
like people that intentionally crawl through like it's like a hole this big and they put their whole body through it and they're like, oh, okay, and they're like they crawl like a mile into it and they're like, oh, time to go back, and it's like
yeah, that's
every video in the title, literally like at the end of the title, it says like claustrophobia warning or something like that.
it is crazy.
And like I commonly don't put myself in those situations, so I don't really think about it. But then as soon as I watch one of those videos, like I'm like sweating, and I'm like,
Yep.
I would just being able to, like Christian was saying, like the feeling of being stuck and like
Yeah.
not having that movement, like I would freak
Like,
out
there's
so
only one
freaking
way.
bad.
Or like those videos you see of people on like high-rise buildings, like on the edges of the buildings, like jump, like parkour, or just
Yeah,
like hanging off the building, or somebody else holding them off the
See, like, I
building.
don't know that. I like get a little bit in my stomach. I get that
Well,
little feeling,
that's,
but I feel like getting like stuck in a like cave. I get even more than
yeah.
that.
I mean, they're both probably
Like-
like equally scary in real life, but like I think in both situations, it's like it's a training thing. You work your way up. Like no one's. I mean, there may be some people that are just like naturally better at one or the other, but I feel like for parkour, it's like you train yourself. You go higher and higher or whatever.
For-
the rooftoppers and that kind of thing. But for cavers, it's like if you could just squish down where it's like your face is like the size of the tunnel. Like how do you not? I don't know. How do you not freak out?
For me personally, I would never be in that situation where I would have somebody hold me off the side of a building. I would never
Yeah.
have the balls enough to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be, I guess, not necessarily stupid enough, but a little more brave to go in a cave.
Well, I would go in like a cave.
I'd
Like
go
I had,
in a
like,
cave, but I would never
I
crawl.
went to-
I would never see a hole in the bottom of a cave that's like the size of my body. I'm like, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
The closest thing I got to it is in
Yeah, the one I did
like
with
the polar caves, and there's another one too. But they have like a thing called like the lemon squeeze. And
Yeah.
There's like two different places that have one. I think it's called the same thing. But it's like basically it's like one of them you have to like crawl. It's like rocks and stuff,
Yeah.
and they have to go through this like fence they have cut out, and it's like if you can fit through the fence, you can fit through there. And you have to like crawl underneath, and then another one you have to go like up in between these
Yeah.
rocks, and it's very tight.
yeah.
But it's like I did that, but
It was
it's almost
short.
different
It was
because
short.
it's short, but like it's not man-made, but it was like tested almost. Like it's an attraction. Like you go there and you know what it is. Like people do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I go to like a random cave in the middle of nowhere and it's like I don't know
What's
Yeah.
when
at
this
the
gets
end?
bigger or like
But the
if I can fit
the one
it
you,
or
the
like,
second one, I think
like-
I did both of them with you. But the second one we talking about, where you had to crawl under the boulder, where you're on your
Yeah.
stomach crawling.
Oh yes,
But
and
the
then you get to
rock,
the middle, and then there's like a rock that comes down.
yeah, the rock is literally touching your back as you're on your
Yeah.
stomach. Like that's how tight
Yeah.
it is. And you can like see the end of it. It's only like maybe like 6 or 10 feet, and you
Yeah.
basically have to go. You can't like back out.
Oh my god.
And it's like
Yeah,
I
I
remember doing it, and I was like, okay, it's kind of creepy. But like when I think back of it, I'm like, I don't think I could do it again. Like, it's so scary.
I just like that feeling that you can't like turn around, and it's like how are you supposed to like move backwards if you do get stuck?
Well,
Like, you
that's-
can't. Like it's like that's weird.
Well, that's what like because I was not to get too
How
much
did
into
they
like
do
this particular thing, but like it started because like one guy died like while doing that, but they're saying like literally like only like 5 people have died like ever in like 100 years from like doing caving like that.
crazy.
But, like the one guy that like had the story, like it like blew up in the news and stuff like that, and everyone was like super creeped out by it. They like he actually like died in the mine. They had to bury the mine and close the mine. But like he crawled into an area that wasn't it was like a known mine, but like there was an area that wasn't yet mapped out, and he crawled in going down, but he went head first.
Ooh.
And like that's like general, like you're not supposed to do
Yeah,
that, like
don't do
because
that.
if you do get stuck, like you can't, you have no pressure to back yourself out, and you're like blood's rushing to your head type of thing, which has happened to him. Like he basically got stuck, and like his everything swelled up, and his lungs filled up with like fluid, and he basically like suffocated himself. So he didn't die from like the swelling in his head, like his just body just like made him suffocate kind of. But they were saying like that doesn't happen because like you always go, like if you're going down, you go feet first. If you're going up, you go head first. Like you go like gravity wise. So like you put yourself in a position that doesn't happen. Like you can still get stuck, but you're in a position where it's like, okay, like let me figure this out. Where he got stuck and he was in a position where
like panic.
Like the more he like tried to get it, like he got stuck and more wedged. Like they had like it was like 28 hours of crews and ropes and all this stuff, and obviously they can't just dig you out in this rock tunnel. So it's like they tried to strap him up, they couldn't do it.
How did they know where even was? Like how did he?
Well, he wasn't alone. He was with his brother. It was like a family trip. He was like with his brother, and then like his brother called for help, and they got like services. But then like you're in like this little cave like this. It's like how like the person to help you has to be someone who does it too. And like basically like he ended up dying. Helpless. Yeah, he's just helpless. And like people saw the story and they think it's like the craziest thing, but like that turned me on to like a bunch of other channels of like there's like other people that do it, and like some of these videos, man, it's super like stressful to watch. But it's just funny that Christian said that, because like I guess like in the back of my mind I'm kind of like claustrophobic, but only like in those situations. Like I've been in like small things and like, oh, let me squeeze through this, but it's never like, oh, look at this 400-meter tunnel in the dark where all I have is this battery powered flashlight. Like those situations, fuck that.
Yep.
I know another one that you never said that. Surprised you didn't say it. Love Scott's.
Well, my one that everyone knows me for is needles.
No, it's not even.
Oh man, needle. On the needle topic, real quick.
Go ahead.
I hate needles so much,
dude. Me
like,
too.
See, that one is more irrational. Like, what is why needles?
It is 100% irrational, because I have like tried to like train myself not to, but it's like to this day, like if I go to the doctor's and like
you have
like,
to look away.
Like I'm already I'll watch them do it, but like if I'm in the waiting room and they're like, oh, you need blood work, I'm like, my heart sinks. I basically like die right there for like 10 seconds. And then I'm like freaking out. I'm like, my whole body's like shaking in the thing. And I go in and I'm like, like laughing and giggling. And then they do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm fine. It's just like the needle and the little hole. Oh, the whole process just like freaks me out. But it's like for no reason, because it doesn't hurt. It's just because it's like you're never doing it. Someone else is just doing it. And the needle just always just goes right in. Like
you're afraid they're accidentally just going to shove it in your neck.
No, I'm not even afraid of like, I'm not afraid of like something bad happening. I truly don't get why my body does
like
that.
That's just one of those ones. Yeah, it's like you can't really explain.
Like when Serena, never mind. I'm not going to say that one.
All right.
So when she got some sort of needle.
Yeah, I had to leave the room.
Gotcha.
I think Scott knows what I'm talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about too, though.
Oh, the epidural?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat in front of her because that one they literally put it in your spine, like on the bottom of your back.
Dude, that thing was like a foot long.
Yeah, they have them like they sit down, they have them like bend forward, and then they put it like in your spine at the bottom of your back.
That's rough. Like a normal needle. A normal needle I'm fine with. Like
no, it's like a thick fucking juicer needle.
Yeah,
when I go to get like blood work and shit, like I have to tell them like I have to look away, and I get really pale, and I might pass out. Like I've never actually passed out.
Yeah, I've never passed out, but I'm usually laughing. I usually like slap the nurse once or twice. Like I'm like, oh, sorry. Yeah, that one is so irrational for me. I hate like I don't know, like that one I hate. Like the other ones I know, like they're just things that people go through, but like that one I was like, what the fuck? Like I don't understand why in my brain I'm so messed up with those. But it's just till this day, like I'll like skip a doctor's appointment to like get something seriously checked out because I'm fearful like they're gonna need blood or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say like you don't like being underwater. I felt like you were gonna say.
So the underwater thing I feel like relates to. I guess it's not like claustrophobia, but like being underwater and like getting stuck underwater is obviously more scary than being stuck like in a claustrophobic situation. Like not being able to breathe. I don't know. Like I'm not like I love being in the water, but like I can't like really do underwater. Like my brain just doesn't let me stay underwater because I just like I don't like the ability of not like breathing. So like the fear of like getting stuck underwater. Like you see like people go to like Mexico and they're like, oh, you know, they're swimming and like, oh, we just gotta go under this thing and then we pop up in some pool.
Yeah.
I would never do that. It sounds so awesome, but like I literally don't think I would ever do that unless I had a fucking scuba tank.
I would do it as long as, like I said before, it's like a known thing. Like people do it all the time. Like it's safe. Like not something that can always happen, but like people know. Like it's not like this sketchy ass like 3,000 foot long tunnel that you need to hold your breath for 15 minutes. Like if it's just like you come up.
If I could like feel it, I'm great. But like if they're like, oh, it's like 6 feet away, I'm like, I'm probably not gonna do it, bro.
The one I get afraid of, like I'm looking online at like people like they're on like ice and they jump through the ice and they come up over there. It's like no fucking way. Nope.
No,
see I don't know if I would do that one.
They break through the ice to get in and then they break up the ice to get out.
Well, I literally saw a video of a guy who swam like out like a freaking 500 yards and he missed the hole by like a certain degree, so he swam this way and the hole was this way. And then like there was people above the ice because like they were trying to sweep it off and they were like, you gotta go back this way. And he's like freaking out trying to like grab the ice. He eventually finds the hole, but he was under the water for like 2 minutes and I was like, oh my god. I think I died watching the video. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
I think I've seen that one. Yeah, that's scary. See, something like that like is a little more like crazy.
It's like controlled but under controlled, but I don't know. That's like Brian said, like these are like extreme circumstances where it's like chances are you're not going to put yourself in those circumstances, so it's not going to like you're not really afraid of it because you're never going to be in that situation. You're not just like, oh, I'm in this situation where I'm like swimming under the ice. Like,
on my daily commute to work, gotta swim under this ice.
It's like
you wake up in the morning, next thing you know, you're under ice.
Yeah, it's like one of those situations where unless something crazy happens, like chances are like you don't have a reason to fear it.
Mm-hmm.
Like being in the situation would be scary. So it's like you wouldn't call it. That's why I wouldn't call like being stuck underwater or claustrophobia like a fear of mine, because like I don't put myself in those situations where it's like whatever. But like I'm still like afraid of those situations, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little different.
You have any other ones, Christian, besides like the claustrophobia thing?
Anything deeper, Christian?
I think it's like in the swimming is like not underwater, but like being on top of the surface and there's like nothing around you.
Oh, like ocean?
Getting open water.
I've had that dream before. Not it's just like scared that like like there's nothing around and it's like I feel like I can't float, so I'm just gonna get tired eventually. It's just like die. I guess that goes to the death one.
That's another one that's a little more gruesome is like burning alive.
Jesus.
Gassing tanks just start.
What was that? That was not burning alive. This is my fear. Oh gosh, Christian.
I mean, but obviously I don't work in like a science lab or something, but like, you know, like you work mixed chemicals and shit, like you burn yourself alive. I don't know. Yeah,
but I feel like that kind of goes to like the irrational things where it's like if you think of like any horror movie, like any horror death, you're like, holy crap, like just that specific way. Like any Saw movie, you're like, oh my god, imagine being this or that. And it's like those are all super scary situations, but it's like, well, I hope I'm never in like a fucking Saw movie.
Imagine that alone having to jump into a pit of needles.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Scott.
Yeah, that's me too, man.
Like
takes you and throws you
in. She's just like
oh my god. Oh,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that one was bad, honestly, but obviously, like, she didn't die from that. Like, there's way worse deaths. But yeah, that scenario specifically is like, if somehow like I was kidnapped for like some terrorist reason or something, and like that was my punishment, it's like, really? Like,
well, just shoot me now.
Yeah, it's like shit. Like, can I get a phone call before you just kill me? Because that's just.
Yeah. I don't know. See, like I kind of like what you just felt like now. It's just where you just like search, like you can always search for something that you would be afraid of, but it's not like a fear of yours.
Yeah.
Like if you think enough, but like that's why I like in the beginning I was like trying to say like different type of fear, but yeah, that's fine. We can.
So, I mean, one that might be a little bit more realistic is like kind of realistic, kind of not, is like sort of fighting for your life. I mean, like you're at like the store and somebody's trying to rob the store and they have like a gun or something, you know what I mean? Like, do you try to fight the person? Like, and then obviously, you know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of, I feel like that more goes to like the fear of making the right decision versus like fearing for a fight for your life. Because like one decision is like you don't do shit and like you're not fighting for your life. You're just hoping shit goes well and you walk out of there. Or the second decision is like, do I like go after this guy? Do I like try to save somebody else? Like,
see, I think I'm not really afraid of that. Because I like kind of already like mentally like in my head.
Badass.
No, but I've like already like gone over these scenarios and stuff.
Yeah, like, mentally, like I burned myself alive.
You like mentally prepare yourself for situations like that. And obviously, it's gonna when it happens, your mind's gonna go fucking crazy. But like, I think about this stuff all the time and like just different scenarios and being prepared for different scenarios and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think like stuff like that, like being prepared in like a general scenario, like if someone was over here with this or whatever, what you do, or if someone's like attacking you directly, like there's no other option. Like you have to defend yourself. You have to, but like in a situation like someone's robbing a store, like obviously if you're already safe and there's no immediate threat of life to really anything or like anyone, you don't really have to do anything. You can either hide or just like sneak out a back door or something.
Let it go,
There's no point of making it worse but like if it's a direct threat of your life or like maybe somebody else is like very close to you, like then you would have to act. I don't know, and other reasons, but I won't mention them on camera. But
well,
I mean, this is gonna sound kind of mean, but I mean, I want to ask it to. All right, I'll just ask it because whatever. This is open group.
F it, Scott.
Like for Tim and Christian, just because of life scenario differences between Brian and I, like, do you guys have a fear of like I guess two things, like not finding someone, like you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be mean. Like I'm not pressuring, but it's like obviously like me and Brian, we like have a significant other and it's like I don't have a fear of like being alone unless like something crazy happens, which is like the death category. But it's like, do either of you have some sort of like not fear, but like I guess fear of like not finding someone or like getting too far in life and it's like, oh, I didn't put enough attention into that, if that's something that like you wanted to put attention into? Like I don't know, you guys.
No, I get it. Yeah, it's not me. No, because I wouldn't say it's like a fear, but like,
Sorry.
I don't know, it kind of goes back and forth with me because like
I was just curious.
There's like days where I'm like, oh, like I'm glad, like obviously you guys still have freedom too, like you guys are in good relationships, like good relationships, you still have freedom, but like I'm like, oh, I can just do whatever I want. I don't have, like I kind of said, mentioned before, like I don't have any responsibilities, so if I wanted to do something crazy, I can just go do that, whatever. Like there's days I really like that, and there's days where like, oh man, like I kind of wish that I had someone to do something with or be like. So I wouldn't say there's like a fear, but there is some kind of like something like a longing, something
like a need or a want.
Yeah, a longing is a good word for it.
Yeah, there's definitely that.
Like as far as like mix between a need and a want.
Yeah, and like as far as like a fear, like eventually, like maybe there's like a tiny bit of it, but like it's some days it's like
you're still young, where you're not like 40 and you're like, oh my god, like I don't have a lot of time or type of thing. So yeah, I was just like I said, not trying to be mean, but it's like
he's trying to be mean.
So like Christian, it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's something you even like actively like think about or pursue, but it's like, is that like a thought that goes through your mind? Like, maybe you don't find someone, or it's like,
don't let him fool you, man. He's got a bunch of, you know what I mean? He's got a phone. Like Christian's doing the dirty.
No, it's for me, it's my future. Like it's not with someone you don't need to have anybody with you to to have a bright future in yourself, but like my goal is just trying to be the better person for my family and do something that they never did and show them that when I leave this world, I did something good for myself, and for others. But like sometimes you do have the needs and wants of like you do need a significant other to like have this journey on, but at the same time you don't really need to. But
so I mean that's a solid answer. So like based on that thought, like I guess it's hard to ask. It's like from a family standpoint, Like,
Yeah.
if a family is something that like you strive for, is a fear of like not being able to get like have that, you know what I mean? So it's like kind of the same question, but like more pushing, like, because like you're saying, you're trying to better yourself and like just be the best version, and you don't need somebody else. Like obviously that's true, but like in your growth like path, like do you see a family in that path, and like are you ever worried that like you're gonna want that and you're not gonna be able to get it, or is it just something you're not like really worried about? Like you don't have to be worried about it. It's just like
it's in and out. Like it's really hard to say because like I'm at a certain age where I should have at least one. Just
least
to
one.
like
At least
yeah,
one what?
just at least one kid.
At least one family.
Yeah, at least one kid.
At least one family. I mean, no, I mean,
Like-
there's no right age for kids or marriage or any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, these days, it's like all those rules are completely blown out of the water. But yeah, I was just curious. Like I said, just like back to Tim's original question, like the fears that you can't really control that aren't irrational. Like, are these things that you're actively thinking about, or it's like maybe it's not, and you like I said, you're focused on you're trying to get a better job, all that kind of stuff. So that certainly makes sense as well.
Well, so what are the more like? I know we kind of talked about it already, but what are the more silly ones, like heights and needles?
But like way more silly.
I
mean,
guess
like
just
The
So-
fear of getting like
ultra
beaten
silly.
to death by
So,
like a
I guess-
needle.
just like making love and just like automatically just die right there.
What?
Oh my god, dying while having
What?
sex. That's a new one.
what the fuck?
That's
Death-
not what.
Death during sex.
Oh god,
That's
out
awesome.
of left.
Death by pleasure.
I mean, you go out on a high note, I guess.
I don't know how to follow that one up, but like I like what I consider is a silly one kind of goes back to my like one of my previous ones of like trying not to disappoint people, trying not to like look bad in front of people, like being like directly humiliated, like
Really?
being
Let's
directly
humiliate 'em.
yeah, being
Uh.
directly humiliated, like it kind of falls into that category. Like you don't want to look bad in front of somebody's eyes, but like I don't know, like sometimes I get like scared that like if I'm doing something that is a possibility, like I get kind of nervous. But it's like I find it silly because it's like people that literally go out of their way to like do things to like humiliate themselves, you know what I mean? Like Impractical Jokers and all these YouTubers and stuff like that. Like they're actively doing all these like ridiculous things, and it's like it puts them at the center of it, and it's funny and stuff, but it's like I don't know, like I don't even know if I'm at a point. I still like fear the act of that,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
direct, like I don't know, I guess it's like
Shut
negative,
yes.
like
Like
negative,
immediate.
yeah, like
yeah.
immediate, like negative attention, like laughing like directly at me for like humiliating.
Like shitting your pants in the middle of the mall.
See, I don't
Yeah,
know.
like,
I wouldn't say.
Like, I can't even think of like an example, but you know what I mean? Like I don't know, just like that thought. I feel like
Like your flies down and you didn't even notice.
I'm trying to think of like an
I don't-
example that
I-
would
Or
like,
even worse, like your junk is out.
I don't know. I don't know if I would like.
It's
Yeah,
well, because that would be
laugh at.
funny. Like if someone like just turns and is like, "You're so small," and everyone starts laughing at you, that's more like humiliating versus like just
Yeah.
having a junk out and everyone's
Yeah,
like,
you
"Oh,
ever-
that's funny."
all right. So speaking of the subject, when you feel like you're in a restroom at work, and then like you just wipe yourself, and then all of a sudden you forget to check around you, and then like when you get back to your station, like you have a piece of toilet paper just hanging out of your pants.
Dude, I almost
thought you were
shit on
gonna
a
say,
dude's
like,
lap. Dude, I literally almost pooped on a dude's lap, my coworker's lap. So no, nothing about the bathroom humiliates me.
Yes,
Yeah.
He's past that part.
I'm past that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would never feel like afraid of getting like laughed at, because I'm pretty good at like, for some extent, laughing at myself. Like I don't know, like if I like tripped in public and shit, like I would laugh. Like it'd be
Yeah.
funny. Like if I fell over and like people would laugh. Like
There's this one time I was at the mall and I forget who I was with, but I went to the woman's bathroom by mistake. Like I totally just walked right in like it was normal, and nobody saw me. Like not a single woman saw me, and I didn't know it. And then I like heard a woman come in and she was like heels. I saw the heels like under the stall. I'm like fuck. I was taking a shit. And, like, so I had to sit there and like wait till everybody left and like run out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
before
time it
somebody
right.
else came in.
Oh my god, it was the worst.
But see, like,
I
yeah,
know
I
what
don't
you
know.
said.
Like, I saying that now, like out loud, like I can't even think of a scenario. But like, yeah, like falling down and stuff doesn't bother me. I don't know.
we were in Vegas and it started pouring out. And
That's what I just thought of when you said that.
It was me, my sister, his sister, and we were all running for the door, and it like the sidewalk that there was the really slick part of like the concrete that's like super smooth. It was going up, and it was pouring out, and I was running for the door. I was just flying, like I just slipped. I went flying, and just like slid so far I fell. But that's the thing too, like no one laughed. Like everyone was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was laughing because it's hilarious. Like in my mind, I immediately thought like how hilarious that would have been to see if it wasn't me. So I started laughing like it was funny. And
like that's funny. Yeah.
Like no one was laughing. People
as long as you weren't hurt, it was funny.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Like I laughed at it. I thought it was hilarious, and I'm the one who fell. Like I thought.
I don't know. I mean, maybe like I don't know. Shitting yourself is kind of like something that's like embarrassing at the same point. You know what I mean? Like something that's like it's humiliating, but it's like embarrassing. Like falling down is not like embarrassing. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. Maybe maybe I can't really think of an example, but I don't know.
I have a ton of them. I'm just super embarrassment, man, over here.
Like peeing your bed.
So
if you were like sleeping in public, I guess, like peeing in bed at home, like you can do whatever you want.
So
you can do whatever you want at home.
And his family, like one of their family members had a cottage way up, like right next to the Canadian border. It's like a 6.5, 7-hour drive. And I was in the way back row. It was like third row seating. I was in the third row, and I had to go to the bathroom like halfway through.
I like this story already.
So I'm like, listen, you got to pull over. We got to find a rest stop. Like, I got to pee so bad. And they're like, no, 3 more hours. I said I wasn't pulling over. I'm like, no, like I got to go. I have to go.
You had to pee?
And yeah, I had to pee. And my buddy, he's like, oh, just there's a bottle. Like, whip it up, piss in the bottle. And I'm like, I'm sitting next to your sister. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And so I held it. And like an hour and a half, 2 hours later.
Oh my God.
I just couldn't hold it anymore. And down my whole leg, like brutal, dude. It was just like my whole pant leg was like normal, like white blue jean color. The other one was dark blue, like piss. Oh my God, it was brutal. It was so bad. And I didn't tell anybody that I did it. They didn't know. I was just like, oh my God, it's coming out and I can't even stop it right now. It's so bad.
So good though. You started peeing, you're like,
oh man, that's awesome.
So I'm the last one to get out of the van, right? Because I'm in the third row, and I get out, and you could clearly tell. So I immediately took off my sweater and like I wrapped it around the front of my body, like how people do it, like when girls like don't want guys to look at their ass. But I did it like the front way, and they're like, "Did you?" I'm like, "Yeah." You look here. Can you tell? It was so embarrassing. It was funny. It was kind of hilarious, but
did you mess up the whole car?
It was a rent-a-car too.
Yeah, like I don't know, like like something more embarrassing is obviously worse. Embarrassing.
It was funny and embarrassing at the same time.
Yeah, I said that was a little embarrassing, but like at the same time, like you told them like I need to pee and they didn't pull over. Like it's kind of their fault too. Like what are you supposed to do in that situation?
Like I held it. I tried so hard to hold it, and like as soon as it started coming out, I just couldn't stop it.
It's like we were on a road trip with Tim's family.
Oh yeah.
And we're in a big van like that. We were traveling, and his brother was driving, and it's always the driver's like pee schedule that they stop on, and like I have to pee all the time. Like that's like I guess that's like a weird subliminal fear I have is like not being able to pee. That's why I always get aisle seats and everything.
Because you have to pee so much.
Yeah, because I have to pee so much. So it's like I always have aisle seats and everything. So it's like not being able to pee is like drives me crazy. But like we were in there, I was like, I gotta go, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be a little while. And I was like, it's getting really close here. It's getting pretty crappy.
Yeah.
After like a few minutes, I was like, all right, like we really gotta stop. And like Tim's mom was like, oh yeah, like Eric, you should stop. Like he has to really go. And she like turned around and like looked at me and was like, do you have an erection yet?
What the fuck?
Because she had some assumption that all guys, when they really have to go pee, they get an erection.
So I didn't think you were gonna tell that part of the story.
So I told her no, I did not have an erection, but I still had to go really bad.
Oh God. Still talking about that too.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
She's like, I thought like you got the erection and you had the extra couple inches to hold it.
What the fuck?
hope she doesn't watch this one.
Oh my god!
I didn't name her.
Holy shit!
You thought your mom was bad when we were making fun of her jeans. I didn't think you had to tell that part of the story.
Yeah, it was funny. It's not like a embarrassing thing. It was just like another like had to pee in the car story that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like
Do
that.
you have an erection?
Not having the ability to go pee. Like obviously, like if you're anywhere, you can pee anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's like so at some point, it's like
at least for guys too. I feel like guys want to use.
So at some point, it's like kind of stupid. But there are like scenarios where it's like on a plane or in a car or something like that, and like not being able to go is like, oh my god, like I'll pee like before I leave. Like I'm still like a child. I'll pee before I leave, no matter what. Like if I'm going to get the mail or going to the store, I'm gonna pee before I leave. Like that's just like
going to get the mail.
Walking the drive, like, oh no, I had to pee. What do I do?
Dude, I take no chances.
I don't know. That's never been a thing for me.
I'm not afraid of it. Like I said, you can pee pretty much anywhere, but like I don't know. I always put myself in the scenario where like I get an aisle seat. Like I'm like ready to go pee if I have to pee.
I also feel like I can just like hold it for like 9 days and be fine. I feel like I have like a bladder of iron, or I don't know.
It's probably not good.
If I'm laying down,
I don't. Like obviously I know it's not good, but I feel like I can. People like right when they have to pee, they have to pee. Like they can hold. Like I can hold.
Like it's really like for when you're sleeping and you're having a good sleep and you just don't want to get up. You just keep sleeping.
Dude, when you're laying down, it's like a whole new ball game. Like you could be laying down and like have to pee, and then wake up 9 hours later, and like, oh wow, I'm like all right. And then as soon as you stand up, you're like, oh my god, like I really have to go.
Wake up and it's just water fountain.
Yeah, you just have an erection.
It's like splitting everything.
Hey, your penis is split into 3 pieces. You got 3 erections.
It's gonna be like an alien dick.
No, it's when you pee and it goes like you want to hit it straight, and it goes.
Wow, this conversation took a turn and a half.
God.
That's how these conversations go.
Yep. We went from what are you truly afraid of to like
pissing sideways.
Yeah, but man, I really don't want to die. But man, when you piss sideways, that sucks.
Terrifying.
You like piss all over the wall, or you gotta wipe the wall down and shit.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, but dying, oof, that's bad too.
But yeah, your life and existential crisis. But man, peeing,
man, peeing fucking 90 degrees out your penis sucks. Especially if you have an erection in the car with your mother-in-law.
You can do one of those hands on the stall, feet on the other side, and the horizontal, peeing straight down.
Like piss.
Oh my god!
I think it's like anatomy. I feel like I just have a small bladder. So Tim, you might just have like a different structure of muscles, or you just have like a bigger bladder. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I said, I don't purposely do it because obviously I know it's not good. But like if I have to, I'm like I can hold it. Like
I feel like I couldn't
hold it for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Like if I feel like if I have to pee, if I don't pee within like very shortly, I'm like screwed.
But see, my thing was like, I have to hold this as long as I can, so it was like almost like a life or death situation for me. You know? Like I can't piss myself in front of all these people.
And then you did
in this car, and then I did because I couldn't hold it anymore.
See, I would have like ran up there and like shut the car off and like got off on the side of the street. Like I wouldn't have let it.
I just would have peed in the cup. The bottle.
Hey, just kind of turn away a little bit.
Just like wait. You could have probably like used one finger to block it, right, Brian?
Shut up!
Like, don't look.
She's like, "What? I can't even see anything."
Oh man, I hate you guys.
Well, it's a solid note. So, these are our fears and some of our weird pee stories.
Somehow being ourselves.
Oh man. Fourth the boys.
Well,
as always, comment, like, subscribe, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Remember, 10 likes. We're almost there to get Tim to stop playing the game.
Yeah, eventually we'll have.
Hundreds of
we need 100 subscribers. Help us get 100 subscribers. Spotify. In 2021, we want to at least hit 100 subscribers. Make some progress.
Some comments. Let us know what we're doing.
I don't care if you have to make 10 accounts. Make 10 accounts. Have all 10 accounts like us.
Yeah.
Maybe do giveaways.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some giveaways. Let us know if you like the funny podcast, or if you like when we get into some of these deep conversations as well.
Maybe we can sell our bathwater or our own piss or something.
Yeah.
Our
well,
piss.
Brian's pee pants. He might give them away.
you still have those, right?
Nope.
We're still all going. We're also jumping out of a plane still because Brian's afraid of heights, so we're jumping out of a plane still.
Nope.
Yeah. Are we gonna do like one thing everyone's afraid of? So I have to like poop my pants in public.
You have to like get Christian trapped in a cave.
It's like my closet or something.
Jesus, we're just gonna like
Like go in this cave, you can't fit in, and then you get stuck with it.
Jesus Christ.
Good video.
We're just gonna like attempt to murder each one of us. Well,
You don't get murdered, Scott. You just feel really embarrassed.
well, yeah, I know, not mine, but like we're just gonna throw Christian in some claustrophobic cave and leave him. Throw Brian out of a plane. No parachute.
Yep.
Oh fuck.
We didn't hear Tim's.
Yeah, it was Tim's.
I was more realistic. I'll just worry myself to death and
Tim's already on his way to an early grave.
every day my life is terrifying.
We just gotta keep giving Tim horrible scenarios for him to think about, and that's how his
I just
situation.
don't know what to do. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you made it this far. We'll see you in the next one.
See you later.
Later.